I'm standing on lead-based paint dust right now. That's why I have these shoe covers on. Let's see if we can observe it with FluoroSpec instead of getting a dust wipe and waiting a few days for the results. Lead-based paint dust contamination happens for one of two reasons. Either through normal use of household objects like doors, windows, and decks, where friction or impact causes lead debris to dislodge from the surface, or from a renovation that wasn't done responsibly. In this case, it was the latter. It's kind of bright in this room, so I made this box that allows us to use a bunch of flashlights to easily observe. Let's take a look. So now let's take a look what the transformation is like when we spray the liquid in the box. This is just a prototype, but I think it will help people to lower the cost of analysis and decrease the time it takes in between detecting lead in the surface and getting the results. Because right now you got to send the dust wipe away. It takes at least 24 hours. Take a look. So we know that there's a lot of lead-based paint dust by this window, and that makes sense because this window is what caused the hazard to begin with. Let's look elsewhere in the room and see how that looks. So we moved away from the window. Let's test another part of the floor. No fluorescence before. There's still some dust, but much less than is over there. Best practices for cleaning up lead-based paint dust involve working from the cleanest spot to the dirtiest spot, and making sure you only wipe in one direction and dispose of the wipes often. Never use a mop where you re-mop with the same water. You're just going to recontaminate the floor. If you do use a mop, which I don't advise you do, you need to have two buckets, a dirty and a clean, but this still causes cross-contamination. My favorite strategy involves a bunch of paper towels and a 5-gallon bucket with some soapy water. It's also helpful to have a spray bottle to spread around some of this water. Also, never put down the bucket on the area you're working on. There's lead-based paint dust, so keep track of what's clean and what's dirty and then move towards the dirtiest area. So let's start cleaning. I'm a big fan of wasting paper towels in this case because it's so much easier just to get more paper towels and more water going than to worry about if you miss a spot. You're going to want to work into the corner and not paint yourself into a corner. This is also a great time to put on some gloves and grab a black garbage bag that you'll use to put all the debris inside. Remember, clean in one direction and change paper towels frequently. Before you know, you'll have done the entire floor. And it's not just the floor, it's any horizontal surfaces. Something like a radiator or even molding should be wiped off wherever dust could settle. And those horizontal surfaces unfortunately extend to your stuff too, so make sure you clean everything off as best you can. All the same rules apply for when you're cleaning off horizontal surfaces that aren't the floor. Start in one direction and move towards the most contaminated spot. And don't be scared to use extra paper towels or to clean more than once. And if there was ever a time to deep clean your house, now is it. I know it's a lot of work, but by the end of this, you won't have to deal with lead-based paint dust contamination anymore. Now that we've cleaned off the entire floor, let's wait an hour and check with FluoroSpec to determine if there's any remaining dust. Remember, FluoroSpec doesn't work when it's wet, so make sure it dries fully. Now that we've completely cleaned up, let's ensure that no more lead-based paint dust comes into the living environment by following these key steps. Stop using old windows. Stabilize any deteriorating lead-based paint. It might seem ridiculous, but if you can't get a contractor to your house right away and you don't want to attempt it yourself, just put tape over stuff. And if your main entranceway is made of lead, don't use it. And don't walk on old decks like this. You'll wind up tracking lead-based paint dust back into your house. You have to go around the other way.